Alright guys, we are back with another one of your disaster saves. Now I don't normally do two types of these videos back to back, but I have been running a little bit short on time since my last upload and I feel bad making all you legends wait a couple more weeks for another video. So although this save file sent in by fan of the channel Dennis is a bit easier than the average save file I do on the channel, I think there are still some really interesting pitfalls that I can highlight that could save your realms from utter disaster. In Dennis's email, he tells us he's a CK3 noob, with this submission being only his second ever game. In classic Crusader Kings 3 fashion, his only son and heir dies in battle, leaving his 6 counties to his 4 daughters. A situation that is maybe a bit too much to ask for a new player to be able to come back from. So let's jump into the save file and see if we can find out what went wrong, fix it up, and help make sure it doesn't happen again. Okay, so we're in our friend's game, and right away I can see that your character has 4 claims because your land, like you said, had split to your 3 other sisters when your character died. I know you said you're new to the game, only have 8 hours in, but one way you can stop your land splitting on your character's death like this is if you were able to make one of these duchies of this land that you held. So you had held these 3 counties, meaning you could have easily made this duchy for 250 gold. If you were able to create this duchy, then instead of your land splitting completely, like your sisters becoming their own counts, they would instead still get the land, but they'd be underneath your duchy, which makes it a little bit easier to like revoke their land or maybe wrestle it away from them in another fashion. You really shouldn't get discouraged in a situation like this where your land splits to your siblings, because you immediately get claims on their territory and you can declare war using these claims for a really cheap amount. You can see this little sister here who's only 6 years old. We can actually declare a war for only 19 prestige and we get this whole county back. We can do the same thing over here for this other sister's land at the cost of 38 prestige, and right away that's going to give us 2 of our 6 counties back. So I'm going to launch these wars actually both at the same time because I think we are strong enough to be able to do this. So in order to support these wars, I'm actually going to go for a authority focus because that's going to give us +1 martial, but more importantly it's going to give us more control, and control is a really important metric that each county has, and every point that you lose in terms of this control actually has an effect on your tax that you're earning from this area and the levy. So I'll show that when I take them. Now the next thing that we have to talk about is you can see we have this symbol right here and it says we don't have a player heir for our dynasty. And the reason this happened, it's a little bit tricky, but it's because when you were playing as your this character's father, you set up a marriage for this daughter, which was patrilineal, which means that all of the kids you have in this relationship with your husband are going to be of your husband's house. So if we look at our succession, our daughter will inherit all our land, which is normal, but unfortunately we'll lose the game because they're not part of our family. Technically, they're part of our husband's family. So because of this, I would really love to request a divorce on this character, but we don't have enough opinion with the Pope. It's like really close actually. So I'm wondering if we could sway him to get the opinion up, but swaying the Pope is always a little bit tricky. So I'm trying to see if there's another way we can just get a tiny bit more opinion with him, and we can actually gift him this artifact, which might just get us enough, and it does. So now we can request a divorce from him. It costs 100 piety, which is honestly fine, because the fact is we need to set up a new marriage with our character. And we need to sort for a matrilineal marriage this time, which means that these kids that we have will now be of our family, so they'll be, so that way we won't lose when our character dies, but we'll also have to either disinherit or murder this other child that we have because she's not part of our family. And also we're 32, so we're kind of a ticking time bomb right now. We need to make sure to have kids. We need to make sure to have some kids very quickly. So I'm going to try to find somebody who maybe gets me an alliance, could be good. And also, you know, has some good traits. Like this guy actually seems okay. So we'll set up a marriage with him and we'll also start invading our baby sister's land.
That's pretty good.
There you go. So we're already pregnant. Perfect. So we'll have a kid that will be of our dynasty this time. We also win this war. So now if I click on this county, you can see we have 0 control in here. It's going to be going up by 0.5 per month, but you can always put your marshal on this task right here, increase control in county, and then depending on their skill level, you'll be getting a certain amount of control for that. Oh, and we win the second war because we capture the queen in that battle. So now we already have 4 counties where we had 3 before. Unfortunately, we are 1 stewardship short of being able to hold all 4 of these without penalties, but I think we can take a penalty for now, being 1 title above our domain limit. And now if I look at the control, you can see we only have 1 control, but it's going to be going up by 1.1 per month. And if we look at our tax, you can see we're getting reduced by 98% because of this low control. So you guys can really see here how getting the control up as fast as possible is actually the best way to earn more money and levies. Okay, and there you have it, guys. We just had our daughter who becomes our new player heir. So now if we look at our succession, we will at least have somebody to play as. Unfortunately, our capital is going to go to our main daughter here because she's older. So she would get our capital and this other title, but at least we would still be able to play the game. And we can kind of hope to have another kid who would be a son. And then if we do have a son, they would take all of our land instead of it being split to our daughters. So I think we're ready to declare war on our other sister now. They still have another alliance, but this county is all the way in Spain, so it would take them a while to come help them, and we can probably smash their army in that time. Raise our army and then try to hit them. Should I attack them here actually? They would get defending in hills, which isn't the best. They also have a hunter's lodge, which would give them +2, and a hillside farms, which gives them another +2. But I think we might as well attack them now before their allies come in. And we do have these units here, which are special for our culture, and they get bonus damage in hills terrain. So we'll actually be better off, I think, fighting them here. And there you go. As you can see, we killed double the amount of men we lost. Their ally joins the war, but I think that's okay. And it will take a while to seize this land. One thing we could maybe do is leave some soldiers who will continue to take this land. And then with this other army, we can try to fight these guys again and make them even weaker.
Gotcha. Nani?
How did that make sense? There you go. So you can see we caught them on this tile, which is pretty even terrain. Kill a lot more men, and then we can link up with our other army yet again. Okay, their allies came in, but we're gonna catch them on this tile, and we now actually get the defensive bonuses from those buildings that are here, so we shouldn't have any problem beating them back. And we can pretty much let this tick to 100% because this is the war target, and we do hold it now. There you go, so we just hit 100%. I'm going to also pick up Serve the Crown to get our control up even faster in these counties that we are taking. And we have almost gotten all 6 of your lovely counties back for you. So I'm going to be putting our new player heir and daughter on a stewardship education. The thing that's holding us back is our holding limit, which is totally dependent on your character's stewardship. So every 5 stewardship points, you get 1 extra holding limit. So if we're able to put our daughter on a stewardship education, she will get a stewardship education trait, which is going to be really helpful. Like you can see with our education trait, we're getting +4 diplomacy. So you can get a lot of skill points just from that education trait, especially if you teach her, like if we do a good job teaching her. So I always like putting at least my early characters on stewardship education just so I can hold more domains. And like the more domains you hold personally, the more power you have, because each domain gets you a certain amount of levies and tax, as you can see. So now I'm just going to be waiting around pretty much until we have enough money to create either one of these duchies. I think I'll do this one here maybe, but that will help us because it'll give us an extra holding limit, I'm pretty sure, for being a duke instead of a count. And also on succession, instead of our land splitting, our oldest daughter will get the duchy and these 3 counties and then will be a vassal of them. But that's honestly fine because as a vassal, it's not too difficult to take control of the whole region. Also, I didn't really talk about this yet, but we are a vassal of Bavaria right now. And the only reason that's important is because we don't really have to worry about too many invasions from big kingdoms, because if anybody, like anybody near us, like Italy or Hungary, wants to declare war on us, they'd have to go through Bavaria to do that. And Bavaria is pretty strong. So we can really just worry about taking land away from other people and don't really have to worry about defending right now. Okay, there you go. So we got pregnant again. I did a seduce scheme on him, so now he is our lover. And hopefully, if this one's a son, it'll actually solve all our succession problems right away. If it's another daughter, it could complicate things, but you know, we'll have to pray to the CK gods here. Okay guys, there you go. So we had a son. He's beautiful as well. Name him whatever our husband wants. I honestly don't care. And we will educate him ourselves as well. So now you can see on succession, instead of my daughters taking the land and splitting it, we now just have one son who stands to inherit everything. And we're also 39, so hopefully we won't have any other kids, because if we have another son, then it's like the same problem all over again. But at least if we do have another son, they'll be part of our dynasty. Now that I've picked up Serve the Crown and Strict Organization, which also helps our control, I'm going to switch over to Stewardship, just so we can pick up a domain focus, getting us 2 extra stewardship, bumping our holdings up to 5 of 4. And that's going to have a really big effect on our tax. We were making like 1.9 and now we're making 3.3, as well as our military went up by a decent amount. We have a truce, I'm pretty sure, with our sister over here, but whenever that runs out, we can do a war for our claims and get the 6th and final county back under our control. Oh, okay. So right as I say that, our sister actually dies and it gets transferred to this Spanish kingdom, which is now a bit of a problem because they are pretty strong, that Spanish kingdom, and they're far, right? So I could declare war, win it, and start building attacker controls war target there. The only problem is eventually they'll run their whole army over to me and probably wipe the floor with my measly 1.2 thousand men. So instead, I guess I'll just be building up my strength a little bit first before I can declare war for that final county. Oh my goodness, so now we're having too many kids. Our husband is too much fertility, I guess because we're both beautiful and he's handsome. But we had another daughter already and we're pregnant again, so I really don't want to have a son here. And I just realized actually we could create a hybrid culture with the Croatians because we do have a lot of acceptance with them. I'm not sure if this is what our friend Dennis would have wanted us to do, but you can see the good thing of creating a hybrid culture, it would get us 2 technologies right away. And right now you can see it does take us a while to do research. We'd have to wait 26 years for our next tech. And this would actually be pretty decent for us, as well as getting us some more traditions because we only have 2 right now. So I think honestly, I'm going to do it. It's a good use of our prestige too. What it will also do is make it so that we now have a 1 county culture. So if we start increasing our development in this place right here, it'll really help our research speed, as well as we are now the head of the culture, so we can choose exactly what we want to research. Oh, look at this. I'm actually going to go for ledger, because if we can get this, it'll actually bump our domain limit up by 1, and then we won't have any penalties for the lands that we are holding. Ooh, so this is perfect. Our heir got the pensive trait, which means we can put him on a learning or a stewardship education, and we're going to put him on stewardship for the same reasons as what I was explaining for my daughter before. The more stewardship we have, the more holdings we can have, and the more money and men we'll have because of that. Okay, so we just hit 250 gold, and I'm going to go ahead and make this duchy where our capital is. Gets us some more prestige, but that is fine. Not that important. Oh, so you actually don't get +1. I thought being a duke got you 1 extra domain limit, but I guess not. So now that we are a duke, one thing we could do is grant, let's say, this county away to somebody, and they'll become our vassal instead of becoming independent. So that's going to be really useful for the second we start taking a lot more land. But for right now, we should be okay because we're about to finish leisure in just 4 months, and that'll get us to 5 of 5 holdings. There you go. And you can see now we are making a whole 5.1 tax per month, and our soldiers are all the way up to 1.3 thousand. So you've done a pretty decent job with your buildings. I've almost finished maxing out the buildings in all 5 of your counties. I think for the last ones here, I'm going to pick up these barracks buildings just because they boost our heavy infantry damage, and we do have special heavy infantry, so we want to like squeeze the most damage out of those guys.
I have a question. For God.
Wow, those are awful.
Why?
I'm also going to be putting our spy master on find secrets now because I did just get golden obligations, which means we can fabricate. We can get money if we have hooks on people. So the more secrets we have means the more money we can have. It's a cheeky little tactic. And I think that's honestly the last thing I need from this tree. I'm not going to go all the way to divided attention or architect. And we do have 13 stewardship, meaning if we switch to something else, we'll still be able to hold the same level of domains we're holding right now. And instead I'm going to go for scholarship focus just because it'll get us more learning, which will help our research, because this percentage right down here depends entirely on your character's research.
Gotcha.
So look at this, we actually already found a secret, and it's on the king himself. So we're going to enforce that. We now have a hook on him, and with this hook we can go over here and we could actually demand a council position as steward. Maybe we could have what's it called, I think we could have demanded gold for that hook, but I think honestly being his steward is going to be way more helpful, because you can see it's going to gain us 2 extra tax per month, as well as plus 15% tax on all our domains, and then even decrease in construction costs and stewardship lifestyle experience. If we go to make a building here, you can see we're getting a whopping 30% discount right now on building it, which is very helpful, as well as making 7.3 tax per month, which is pretty crazy, I'm not gonna lie.
Gotcha.
So over here I found another attempted murder scheme with the Duke of Bavaria, and instead of using that hook against him, we can demand payment for it, and he's going to give us 55 gold. So it's a pretty decent amount of gold income from it, and we can just turn this into more of these nice heavy infantry units because they are quite strong. Gotcha. Another guy who did a murder scheme, and we can blackmail him for 50 gold, and now we have 200 gold. So I don't think there's any more buildings we can upgrade. We could go to tier 2, or actually we can build another barracks down here for, wow, the low price of 90 gold only. So that's a huge W. I could also start upgrading some of our buildings, like upgrading these hunting grounds is pretty good, but then also upgrading the farms and fields will be very valuable. So I think I'll start doing that as well. You know, just keep the gold income very high. Oh my god, like, dude, this guy got the worst trades somehow. Wow, wow, wow.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
So our husband just died, and I'm honestly okay with this because we can sort for a new husband, and this time we can sort by stewardship. So just like that, we married that guy, put him on managed domain, and we can hold 5 of 5 domains again, because I did lose one because I picked up reclusive when I got stressed out one time. I'm still waiting for the Spanish kingdom over here to weaken a little bit. They're pretty strong, and they do have an alliance which is strong as well. I would really like to take this piece of land back though. So this is kind of interesting. This Catholic Spanish kingdom got war declared on it by this guy, and you can see they are pretty strong, the Muslim invaders. So I'm wondering if it's going to distract him enough to where I could probably declare war on him for this county, and he wouldn't really put up a fight for it. We only have 2,000 men when he has like way more. But I think I'm going to do it. Worst case, we can always set up a bunch of alliances with our daughters. As you can see, I can actually set these up, some of them right now. And that way we can have something to fall back on, because we do have a lot of daughters who are unmarried, as you can see. They all have the beautiful traits as well. So that should go a decent amount for helping us. So I don't know if we will need those alliances, but we'll have them in our back pocket just in case. I'm going to go ahead and launch the war for my claims. We'll have to make sure to take this really quickly before you can raise any men. The good thing is I did pick up 30 onagers, so the siege progress should be good, as well as I have a full 500 stack of these armored footmen. So there you go. We take this piece of land, and as it is the war target, this is slowly going to tick up. So all we have to do is defend this piece now against this guy. But it looks like he's losing this war with the Muslim invaders. So I'm not too worried. Okay, big mistake, I would argue, from these guys here. They are invading my capital, but they're also starving. And they're actually invading this land too. So you're going to see they're going to be taking 6% attrition. So these numbers should drop pretty heavily.
Hi, how are you?
They do have more guys coming in, which might be a problem. But I'm going to wait until pretty much as long as I can to get these numbers as low as possible. And then I'll jump in there and try to attack them and hopefully stop their invasion. Oh. So right there you can see they wanted to run away. I was able to jump in. We're going to get a huge advantage here because of all the defensive buildings. We're also defending in hills. Our special units are have increased damage from fighting in hills. So there you go. We were able to defeat a bigger army with our smaller army, get a good amount of kills, and now we can rush in over here. There you go, and stop them from taking that land back. I just beat them again on this flatland tile where they still had an advantage over us, but we killed a lot of their men. We do have a troop advantage, but I still want to make sure to fight them only on favorable terrain for us. Okay, I also don't know what happened, but somehow he solved his war with the Muslim invaders, but then also became allies with them. Like, these guys were just invading him 2 seconds ago and now they're friends? What's up with that? So I guess we will have to call in our allies here. And I'll try to set up another alliance just to get some more men into this war.
I've come for your pickle.
Nani? Stay alive for me.
Uh-oh.
I'm leaving. Assess the situation and I'm going.
Oh,
Bro, I don't know where they're pulling these allies out of, but they have 18,000 men now. It looks like we have 4 or 5, so we should probably take this chance when we get it to try to attack them here. Oh yeah, there you go. And at least we are getting a pretty good advantage in this battle. Get a good amount of kills as well. And you can see our war score is going up 61%. One thing that's always important to do when you're in these long wars is, if I look at my army, you can see I only have 7 knights, but I have 9. I should have 9 total. So that means I have 2 knights who are just sitting at home because 2 have died in a battle. So you can always put a rally point down, raise a local army. Those 2 knights will spawn there, and then I can then merge this army nicely. And now you can see I have 9 knights in my army, and honestly 2 extra knights is really valuable. Knights do a ton of damage. You can win battles if you just have better knights. That can lead to a lot of victories, so it's always good to make sure that you have as many knights as possible in your army at all times. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. It looks like we could hire the Holy Order, the Knights Templar, which actually has a ton of men. A lot of men-at-arms units too, and crossbowmen. How do we have crossbowmen already? That's actually crazy. So now we might actually stand a fighting chance because they actually brought in a lot more men from this kingdom, which is so annoying. Like, I can't believe they made so many alliances to have 18,000 men. Like, what is up with that? We could just try attacking them on this tile.
Target acquired.
Or I have a better idea. I'm actually going to attack them on this tile because we have a castle here. It does have a couple defensive buildings, as you can see, but we will also get defending in hills, because this is really important to know. Even if we're in my territory, let's say, and there's this mountain tiles here. If somebody was standing in this mountains tile, an enemy was standing in this mountains tile, and I tried to attack them, even though it's my controlled territory, they would get defending. They would get the defender advantage because there's no holding here. The second there's a castle involved and you own that castle, like on this piece of land, even though they're there first, even though he's already trying to take this castle, I still get defender because it's my castle and I own it. So that's a really important distinction to know. Like, even though they could be standing on a mountain tile in your land, it's not a good idea to attack them there unless there's a holding there that you already own. But in this case, because we do own this castle and it's in hills, we're going to get a big advantage. It says we are not going to win, but I don't think that's true because we should also, once our allies come in here, we're going to have a huge defender advantage. And I think we should end up winning this battle. And we get a huge victory there. We kill way more than twice the amount that we lose. Very, very, very nice. They have an army over here which we can attack now. The same thing, we're going to get defender advantage because it's our territory. That brings us to 98%, and this should easily tick to 100% in just a couple seconds here. And there you have it. So somehow we have managed to win that war, which was definitely not in our favor. We are able to reclaim all 6 of our friend Dennis's territories that he started the game with. He is also in a perfect position here for when this character dies, he's going to play as their son. Has a great trait. He's got the beautiful trait. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the best stats, but he has enough stewardship in order to hold all our territory. His wife is looking good as well, intelligent. They should have some really nice kids together. And I know this was a pretty quick video, but I wanted to be able to get something out for you guys because I do plan on working on a little bit of a bigger video next, and I wanted to make sure you guys have enough content to keep you entertained. So I hope you really enjoyed this video. Have a great day, guys. Peace out.